Okay. We're on to the Jets here. It's good to have a nice break yesterday, but looking forward to big matchup this week against New York, and certainly been impressive to watch since we played them. Darnold's really played well. He's got an excellent group of receivers, tight ends, backs to work with, and obviously Roberts, leading the league in both punting and kickoff returns, had an explosive year, and did it again against the Packers last week. And defensively, again, well-coached team, create a lot of problems with their pressure. Corners done a good job for them. Good front seven. So it's been a big challenge for us, and we'll have to play better than we did in the last game. They're definitely better than they were when we saw them, whatever it was, 6 weeks ago. So that'll be our challenge to improve the matchup.
What is it about Darnold's game that stood out to you? It looks like last week was a really good week for him.
There's a couple of them now. Good decisions, accurate. It's probably better timing and execution in the passing game with his receivers. More yards, more touchdowns, fewer turnovers.
How does he benefit from his release? Just watching him briefly, it looks like he's a relatively quick release. Is the offense sort of set up to allow him to?
It's West Coast based, yeah. So it's a lot of, that's the offense.
Seems like Chris Herndon's emerged for them over the last month or so. What about him makes him a tough cover?
Yeah, he sure has. He's he's fast. He gets into the routes well. You can see his speed down the field is just moving about the same speed as the receivers are. So just on tape, he plays fast. Good vertical player, and gets across the field quickly on the over routes, things like that. So yeah, it seems like there's certainly chemistry developing between Darnold and Herndon.
On the touchdown play to Anderson on the left side of the field, Darnold might have used his eyes a little bit, looked at the running back first in the flat, and then the Anderson. Is that something that he's done repeatedly that you've seen or done more of lately to kind of manipulate the
How about the first touchdown on the fake slip screen? Yeah. I mean, fake the slip screen out there, I think was doing unwell. And it's kind of a 2-on-1 fast break there. Got to Anderson. Anderson cut it back. It was a well-designed play. Just they beat him on the fake slip screen, and Anderson made a good run on it.
Is that something you've noticed in terms of the eye usage, I guess, that play aside, just in terms of being able to manipulate defenders? Is that something that he does much of?
Yeah. Again, I wouldn't say that's really the heart of the offense. And the essence of the offense is to have a lot of moving routes, get the ball quickly to a player on the move, and let him run with it, whether it's inside out, outside in the seam, backs. So, and I don't like to stand back there and work side to side on the field and spend all day in the pocket. I mean, that's not really the way that offense is designed to run.
So you guys have either blocked or deflected 3 punts in the past 3 weeks. How much of a difference can those types of plays make in the game?
Yeah, those are big plays. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Look for those opportunities every week. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. Sometimes the opportunities are better to return. So we'll just see how it plays out.
There was some dissatisfaction in the locker room in terms of how the special teams have been playing earlier in the year. Have you seen, obviously, the block punts, but in all areas, sort of an improvement in that front?
I mean, I think there's room for more improvement. We'll certainly get tested this week, so whatever it was or wasn't in the past, I don't think really makes too much difference. We're going up against the best return team in the league, so we'll see where we are against Roberts. It's not just him. I mean, obviously, they do a very good job blocking. Their kickoff return scheme is good. Punt returns, they do a good job of getting him started. They do a good job blocking. He does a good job of running. He's explosive. He doesn't need much space. Once he hits the seam, it's all over. So we'll find out where we are this week.
Bill, given that he missed 3-4 games in the middle of the year, is there value going further back, even though it's been a couple of months, to Sam Darnold's games in October and perhaps even September?
Yeah, we saw him all before we played him the first time.
Is this still relevant? Understanding there's obviously been 3 weeks that he's played leading up to Sunday, but you put much weight in that?
Yeah, well, again, we did that in the early part of the year, as we did everything else. There's some relevance to it, but I think there's more relevance to what's been happening, in more recent weeks. But we did that in the first scouting report, and some of the guys we looked at played, some of them didn't. Some of the guys that we're playing now didn't play in the first game, so it's the way it usually is. So we've updated that, but yeah, I think what they've done recently is the most relevant.
What would you attribute some of Michelle's success this year? It seems like he's just done a good job, sporadically in spurts, some big protection games. Obviously, he missed training camp, missed some games here and there, but when he's in there, he's been producing for you guys fairly regularly.
Well, he's a good backer. He's a good player. Runs well, takes care of the ball. It's tough. He's got good playing strength. Runs through some arm tackles. Still got a lot to learn. Still a lot of things that he can work on, but he's a tough kid. He's smart. He works hard. He's out there every day. So keeps getting better. It's a good thing.
Well, we've seen a lot of running backs go through that process, especially when they're rookies coming along. How long does it take a player to gain confidence in himself so that what he's doing later in the season obviously shows a curve upward in what he's accomplishing?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think each player is different. Each situation is different. I don't know if there's one set standard. We've got guys on our team that at that position that didn't play at all as rookies that have been very productive and good players for us. Other guys played as rookies and they played less as it went along. So I don't know. Just keep grinding it out day by day, week by week, and see where it goes. So just take it one day at a time.
Dante Hightower's been pretty consistent all year. Was there a point during the season where he kind of hit his stride coming off of last year's injury?
He's had a good year. He's had a good spring, good training camp. I missed the first Buffalo game, but he's missed very few snaps all year in practice and games. He plays in different packages, and we've haven't put him out there for every snap, but he's held up well and played well. I think he's gotten in on a lot of plays in the running game, in the passing game, rushing the passer, some coverage plays, pursuit plays, things like that. So he's done a solid job for us.
What stands out to you about J.C. Jackson's year, from where he was at the beginning of camp to where he is now?
Just steady, steady grinder. Just one day at a time, just trying to get better. Makes mistakes, try to correct it. He works at it. Usually shows some improvement in that area. Go on to something else. But it's durability, it's consistency, and just being out there every day practicing, doing things, getting corrected, getting better, working on them the next day. I mean, that's really how you improve. So practicing and being durable and being consistent goes a long way.
Bill, Tom said in an interview this week that he plans to play beyond 2019. How valuable is that stability at the quarterback position to the organization?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now I think it's a one-game season here. So let's concentrate on the Jets and worry about next year, worry about next week, worry about last year, some other year.
Bill, with victory, you clinch a bye. How important is the bye, do you think, for this group this year?
We're just going to do the best we can to go out and play as well as we can against the Jets. That's all we can do. So whatever happens after that happens. Can't control it. We control how we play this week. Do the best we can.
When we talked to assistant coaches on Monday, Brian Flores was talking about working with Jason McCourty and just his preparation and his notebook and how detailed he is. What's it been like working with him and just his preparation? Obviously has a wealth of experience in the NFL, but his first year here.
Yeah, Jason's been great. He, again, missed the spring, went to training camp. And then at the end of training camp, really when, we were a little light there at safety. Pat missed a couple of weeks. Jordan was gone. Nate was working through some tough stuff. So he ended up playing safety. So he's played outside, he's played safety, he's played inside in the nickel spot, as well as playing multiple roles in the kicking game. So we've added a lot, I would say, to his responsibilities. He's very, very professional, well prepared, dependable. Mature, takes every part of his job very seriously. Run force, pass coverage, zone, safety, corner, special team, whatever it is. So, I think his leadership, his communication, his professionalism, been outstanding. Been great to work with. Couldn't ask for any more.
Which ways has Rob Gronkowski helped this offense that might not show up on the stat sheet?
Well, there's a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet. Shows up on the stat sheet for us as wins and losses, not the individual stats. So that's everybody doing what they need to do on each play as consistently and as often as possible.
So he's done a good job, just as a selfless approach this season.
Yeah, Rob's a great team player. I think that's ever been an issue.
Bill, earlier you talked about moving parts in their offense, moving routes and so forth. Darnold himself, in terms of movement, mobile quarterback, so it seems he runs only out of necessity, or at least for the most part. And how is he different than a guy like Allen, for example, last year, who's a mobile quarterback with a lot of rushing yards?
Yeah, Allen ran a lot more than Darnold has. But Darnold's a big athletic kid. He can certainly move if he has to. He can get out and escape the rush. He's done that plenty of times, so he has a solid skill set, no question about it. Good arm, can make all the throws, big, strong kid. Hard to get down in the pocket, has good feet, can get out if he needs to. Again, his thing isn't, to take off and run, but if he had to run, he can run. He had a big quarterback sneak for him in the game on the 4th and 1 against Green Bay. Made a nice play on that. Took it off to the side, saw a gap there, made about 3 or 4 yards on it. So he's, I'm sure he can do any of those plays they need him to do. And maybe at this point they might call him to do more of those. I don't know.
Bill, off of what Mark said, Josh, I talked on Monday. He said that, you've said the offense isn't designed to go to one guy. You're going to call the plays that you're going to call. And how much do you emphasize to your coordinators, if something's working, don't overthink it. If they can't stop the run, just keep running it. There's no need to worry about run-pass balance if something's going really well. Is that something you emphasize to your coordinators?
Well, I think there's a balance there. I don't think you keep running the same play over and over again in this league and win. The other teams are too well coached. Their players are too experienced. You might be able to repeat concepts and maybe not make the play look different, but it's the same concept. There's merit in that. And there's merit in repeating plays, but I think to a point. I just don't think you can sit there and run the same play 20 times in a row in this league. It's not high school. I don't think that's going to work. So a lot of times you try to find different ways to do the same thing. Make it look different, disguise it a little bit, or have something complementary off it, so that the defense has to defend more than one thing.
Any other questions? So when it's come to the block punt stuff, Matthew Slater said he kind of credited Nate as well as the coaches with kind of coming up with the idea for what they did on that play. How critical have those two guys, Slater and Ebner, been in working together and not just helping their teammates, but maybe helping their coaches at times too?
Yeah, they both do a great job. They have a real good understanding of what we're doing, and then they also are able to see what our opponents are doing, what scheme they're using, whether it's a protection scheme or a blocking pattern in the return game, or maybe a coverage pattern for our return game. So they give a lot of valuable information on that. It's Brandon King is another experienced guy that it's done that for us too, and others. Hummer, McClellan, and obviously Chung, those other guys that we use in the kicking game as well, Rex. So James Devlin, but those guys that are experienced that can give you that kind of feedback. A lot of times the kicking game, especially on the punt return team, a lot of that's based on calls. So hearing what they're calling, understanding what they're doing, it can be helpful. And when you're trying to sort it all out in terms of who's blocking who in the return game and that type of thing, especially when there's a lot of touchbacks involved, like there are in kickoffs and kickoff returns. Sometimes it's hard to tell who's blocking who when you're on the sideline or even if you're looking at it on film. But sometimes the players can tell because they can see that the guy's looking at him even though he doesn't block them. And you can't tell from the sideline or on film who he's looking at, but if the individual player knows this guy is the guy who's going to block me, and then okay, this guy was going to block him, and that kind of thing. So they do a good job of that. They have very good awareness. Joe and Cam coach those guys well. They're aware of what, like I said, not only what we're doing, but also what our opponents are doing and how they do it. And sometimes it's can be one of two things, this or that. And if we can figure out which one of those it is, then that's a big jump as opposed to not knowing which one it is. So again, teams don't have 10 punt protections. They don't have 10 kickoff returns. Boils down to a couple simple things, maybe with an adjustment or two off it, and that's being able to recognize that and identify it. They do an excellent job of that. So yeah, it's a big help. Okay. All right. Thank you.